It's dreamy space ASMR. Now you probably wonder why the camera is such a weird angle. Well, I thought I would sketch out my tattoo idea on my arm and talk about some Norse mythology. At least the parts that are gonna be relevant to my tattoo. I got inspired by the comment from, I think it was Jacqueline Sanchez or something like that. I apologize if I butchered her name. She suggested I would talk about Norse mythology, and I just thought I would just combine the two and see how it goes. I have a hello marker pen box thingy over here. I was thinking of using the black pen. I apologize, that might have been out. So, I apologize, by the way, if my voice sounds a bit off. I am a little bit sick. I do have some medication over here to drink. Must have gotten something when I went to the store the other day. So yeah, I'm just gonna draw out the tattoo and see how it goes. By the way, I'm gonna preface with this. I am not an artist at all. So don't expect some kind of an artwork. I'll do my best so I can see somewhat how it would look like, but yeah. Let's start out with this side, I presume would be best. Yeah. So the idea is to have a Valkyrie coming down from the heavens, or well, Valhalla, to like a battlefield that's gonna be like over here, and have her like wings go around all the way to my elbow, and on this side have the word perseverance written in Nordic runes, but in Icelandic. Now that I think about it, I should have maybe looked up the rune alphabet. I'll have to do it later. But yeah. So, okay, now I just realized it's gonna be even more difficult because I have to draw upside down. Wow, we can struggle together. Let's start out with the battlefield, I guess. So I imagined it would go like around, or maybe at least start out from here, like this area. Have just basically like a hill, because I don't want to take too much space on this. So it might be a hill, and I could just turn into some kind of a design here. This is why you sketch out your tattoos first, before you do them, just in case if you mess up or want to change something, you can. So let's start out with, I don't know, like, just start from these parts, I guess. Just a regular hill, or whatever it's supposed to be. A valley, I guess, maybe. Yeah, and it's gonna go riding. Okay, whatever. I was thinking of having some kind of like, you know, just do some hills. Right. I mean, it doesn't need to be perfect. That's what the tattoo artist, is supposed to perform. Oops, I and you know, you would have some kind of like weapons lying on the ground, obviously in like shadow and whatnot. You have the sword. Let's just do a sword. Axe. Shields. Obviously, because the Vikings used to use a lot of shields. That was like their bread and butter, basically. I know this looks kind of fucking stupid, but trust the vision. Or maybe don't trust it. I don't know. Maybe this will look like ass, and I'll just not want to do it anymore. It looks way better in my head. Okay, like the detail and everything. This is what I meant. I am not an artist. Now you have a sword sticking out from. Like so. Maybe there's too many swords, who knows? Okay, something like this. And obviously when you know, when I'm getting this done, sketched out by someone professional, I would make them add more detail to this area. So it looks like, you know, dirt and grass and mud and whatnot. So yeah, I don't know how much of this you can see actually on this angle, on this area, but so I was thinking of having a Valkyrie like around this area. Oh, excuse me. Have the Valkyrie run around this area, and have it maybe like this tall. Yeah, or maybe even a bit taller to here. Yeah, I think so. Have it like this, then her wings would go from this to this, and like this. So I was thinking I'll draw the thing out, and once I'm done drawing out, I will explain everything, talk about it a little bit. So if you're interested in that more than just watching me terribly draw, doing a horrible attempt at it, you can just skip to that part. Okay, and then from the thing is the middle of my hand. It is like the middle, basically. Because when I straighten out, yeah, okay, this makes more sense. Okay. The tricky part about doing stuff on the hand is because, you know, it's not the uniform, so you have to like align it properly. It's kind of messy. Okay, let's draw the Valkyrie. You know, it should be like her head would be like over here. That's her helmet. Look around her chest area. Like body. So her arms, I was thinking of having it. I don't actually know. I think they would just go spread out a little bit. So just spread out a little bit, so kind of like go like. That would be like something around. And obviously she would hold a spear. Spears were very common commonly used by the Nordic warriors. Spears and axes, mostly spears. That was like the primary weapon. Swords weren't really a thing for most people. They were only really used for, or like by, you know, jarls and noblemen, basically. Basically, people who had money, which was usually, you know, jarls and whatnot, or like that, you know. And like this, the arm would go like this because she's holding her shield in this one. Like somewhat like this, and then the shield would be like, give or take, like around this area. So her nips would be here. Then her legs would be kind of between like the Superman pose, I suppose. So one leg would go, give or take, would go like somewhat like this, and the other would go all the way. You know, the knee would be a bit lower, but yeah, it would go like somewhere like, and her foot would be like somewhere like this. Obviously, the spear needs to be longer, like so, actually, like this. So yeah, this is the extent I'm gonna be drawing the sketch. I'm not very good at detailing and whatnot, as you can see by this. So yeah. I know she would have wings, and I want her to have large wings, so it would go like. Should maybe like pre-plan it a little bit. Whatever, it's just a sketch anyway. Like so, give or take. Obviously, I think it will probably have to be a bit bigger on this side. Like so. Yeah, somewhat like this. Now I have to do the same thing on this side. Give or take her shoulder. Okay, I'll do this without smearing out the thing. Okay, this should end like somewhere over here. Just rest on my arm. Somewhat like this. Oops. Oh, I apologize if I keep bumping into the microphone. It's very difficult to keep track of what my pen is. Okay, this wing is kind of fucked. As you can see, I don't know if you can, but this is basically like the idea of what I was thinking. And then, you know, obviously having like the light coming from this side, give or take. It's supposed to be like, you know, light from like this area, and like she would be partially in the shadow, right? So you wouldn't be able to see the detail of the face or like the armor or whatnot, but you would be able to see the figure and like the shape of the Valkyrie. So she would be coming like down like this to a battlefield. So I might potentially maybe do this a bit bigger, maybe to like over here where I accidentally scratched myself. Okay, and then potentially make her shield also a bit bigger. in a different angle. Obviously, she wouldn't be holding it like this. She would hold it more like this, if that makes sense. On this side, how to do this, obviously, I would have the word perseverance written in runes. I'm not quite sure now. I would need to look up the alphabet, which runes I would have to use. I would also have to translate it properly, so double check. So I'll just do that off camera. And yeah, so let me just close this. This is supposedly the idea. It's nothing too crazy. I mean, it looks kind of simple now, but obviously when I have it tattooed, I'm gonna have more detail than this. But you can kind of see what I'm going for. So, let's talk about Valkyries in Norse mythology. Have a sip of my medicine. Just gonna have this pen so I can point and stuff. So, to my knowledge, at least, I'm not an expert. Just I'm gonna put it out there. I'm not an expert on this, but Valkyries are usually most of the time depicted on horses. Right? Sometimes there is evidence of them being depicted with wings, and that's what I'm going for because it kind of suits my purpose a bit better. But most of the time, they're on horses, in like Norse depiction and whatnot. And a Valkyrie, basically, you can think of them as like these angels that come down from Valhalla, which would be like the heavens, I guess, for the Nordic people. She comes down from Valhalla and picks up the souls of the warriors that fell in battle, right? So, it was a genuine belief back then that if you died in battle, you would go to Valhalla, or Valhalla, how you would say it in Icelandic, and that's where all the gods feast and do all kinds of stuff together. So you would be basically just drinking and feasting with them forever. That was basically like the belief, right? So, yeah, so the idea behind the tattoo is basically, this would be like the depiction of Valhalla, kind of. And she's going down to pick up the soldiers of the battlefield, one by one, picking up those who are worthy to be brought back to Valhalla. And, you gotta remember that, back in those times, death and war was kind of the norm. Like, you would fight. Most Norse people were farmers, right? Going on a Viking was a profession in a way. Like, it's like a part-time thing. Like, you would do it once a year, maybe. But most of them were farmers and stuff. So, where was I going with this? I have no idea actually. But yeah, I guess like fantasizing about going to dying in a glorious battle was just like a normal thing for them, right? So yeah, Valkyries are always a female. Let's get back on track a little bit. Valkyries are always female. At least they were always depicted as such. Like these women warriors clad in armor coming down to pick you up, leaning more towards the angel type figure. And yeah, so as for the rest of my tattoo, the word perseverance here. Actually, I'm gonna get back to this later. This part over here. So this is it usually would look somewhat like this, right? So it would end like this part. So this entire symbol, right? We call it skudsned. in Norse mythology, you would have, my God, my hand is dry. You would have something that's called Witches of Fate, the three Witches of Fate, right? It's kind of similar, like to the fates in Greek mythology. There were three that dictated your fate. They were all knowing, blah blah blah. And so I don't remember what all of them are called, but one of them is called Skuld, and this symbol is named after her. So this is called Skuldsnit, and it basically symbolizes how past, present, future is all intertwined, right? And you know, I guess the most common depiction, or not depiction, I mean, like interpretation of that, I guess mine as well, is how, you know, stuff that you do today have effect on you tomorrow or in the future, or like, you know, the stuff that you did in the past might have effect on you in the future, or like long-lasting effects all throughout your life, right? And that's at least how I see it. And so yeah, and these runes over here, they spell the word von in Icelandic, which means hope. So you can kind of see the idea now. You know, I want to tattoo the word perseverance here. And you know, I chose this idea mainly because it has meaning to me, obviously. So, you know, how I see it, it's like without hope and perseverance, you can't really do much, right? So with hope and perseverance, you can really get through anything. You have hope, perseverance, and just stuff that you do for yourself will eventually culminate into something good for you in the future. And you know, this is kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say it's random. It's just kind of sticking with the theme of Norse mythology, I guess. And you know, in a way, you could kind of see it as, you know, through hope and perseverance, you know, the Valkyrie coming down to get you is like is the reward. So you can imagine, like, for example, you know, you're having a tough time in life, but eventually get through it. That's like, you know, the reward of getting through it is like the Valkyrie coming down to like take you to Valhalla. So that's basically kind of the idea I was going for. It doesn't make much sense, probably not, but it makes sense to me. So that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea for the tattoo. I don't, like, if I was to add something more, I would maybe add like the word love here. It's a short word, so it would fit. Mainly just like fill up this area, like love, perhaps in runes. And it would also just kind of tie it together nicely with all that stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's basically kind of how it looks like. I know it looks like trash now, but hopefully in the future it will look better. We shall see. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you stayed throughout the rambling, I appreciate you. You're the best. I hope that you have a good weekend. You had a good weekend, and that the week to come is going to be amazing for you. And if not, then make sure to make it amazing.